What do you think? How does outsourcing help companies stay competitive in today's fast-paced environment?
And I think there's a number of reasons. You want your onshore team to have the capacity to focus on the things that are really important to the organization. And so therefore, by working with an offshore partner that allows you to take processes in a very high quality manner, measure it, and I suppose provide that within an environment that has high security and measures the things that we expect today, such as privacy and cybersecurity and so on. So you've got to provide a quality service, measurable outcomes, and allow the people onshore to focus on the things that are very important to them.
What's one misconception about outsourcing that you would like to, detail or clarity about?
One, it's very difficult to pin it down to one sometimes. So I might have two. So one is that people think they can outsource processes that are not clearly defined, and that just doesn't work. So you need to be able to measure and define and look at a process, then have stability about a process to be able to go through the process of then offshoring it and being able to work with an offshore team. But there's another one as well. People think that they can offshore a process and set and forget it, and that's not true. There has to be great communication and great coordination between the offshore team and the onshore team, and that's a big topic of conversation for us.
How do flexible outsourcing solutions help business in dynamic conditions?
That's interesting to me, because sometimes people think that working with a partner to offshore a particular process means that it's sort of put in bounds and it's got a focus and it's got a fence around it. But in reality, the offshore organisation has probably got a lot more flexibility than the onshore organisation. So you can scale up, you can scale down, you can add new resources, you can run special projects, and all of that adds a completely different mix to what you can do with just an onshore team.
Most surprising benefit as clients discover after partnering with IMS?
I think people think about offshoring in different ways, and it probably depends on, not the maturity, but the experience of an organisation and what they might have done previously. But I think people are surprised about the depth of capability of IMS.
Okay.
So it's a very serious, global, quality-oriented, service-oriented, offshore business process outsourcing organisation that happens to focus in offshore outsourcing for recruitment. And I think until they work with the organisation, they don't get to understand the depth of the leadership capability and the engagement and the enthusiasm to actually make their customers successful. And you have to sort of feel that and experience that to be able to fully understand that across the organisation.
So you have been into this industry for a while. How do we ensure businesses do not lose control after outsourcing with us?
Well, first of all, it's not a set and forget process. It really is like onboarding your own team of people that just happen to be located at another location. But that team of people is shared in terms of the management and in terms of the control of the process and control of the activity. And so that ongoing account management, the ongoing review, the escalation procedures, all of the things that are in place to make sure that the onshore client is very, very much in control of not only the scope of what's being done, but the quality and the productivity of what's being done. There's a lot of processes in place to make sure that communication happens at different levels. If we spoke about outsourcing and talk about it for some period, then communication would be the absolute number one topic that comes up. You need to do all of the basics right, but if you don't get the communication, then you've got no chance of success.
Being in this industry for a while, I bet you must have come across some companies who are hesitant to try offshoring. What would be the best advice you would give to such companies?
Yeah, we often talk to recruitment agency owners about the fact that offshoring should be part of their strategic conversation. So if they've got a problem, if they've got a change, if they're trying to implement something, then the use of offshore resources should be part of the mix of solutions. Technology, leadership changes, onshore resources, there's a whole range of things, but offshoring should be part of it. But for those who haven't tried it before, we suggest that first of all they do their homework, they talk a lot and make sure they understand what's possible and what's not possible and what the pitfalls are. And an organisation like IMS can help people go through that process. But it's also about defining an important but not too large process that is well defined and just trying it. Get started, make sure you put the communication in place, measure what the result is, build the rapport with the offshore team, and get the results out of that defined activity, and then make the decision of moving on to other either more processes or to more complex processes.
Considering you have been into this industry for a long time, but you have been associated with IMS for almost over a decade, I would say 15 years now. What made you, be associated with IMS for this long term?
That is a good question. I get asked that quite a bit, and there are a whole range of things. From the very early days, we were very impressed, and when I first came to IMS, it was less than 100 people. It was a very small organisation. They were making their way in terms of this offshore outsourcing for the recruitment industry. But we liked the leadership, we liked the management, we liked the strategy, very open, very authentic, and that's just been repeated in spades as the company's grown. So now it's over 3,000 people. The investment in the leadership team, that engaged, authentic environment is still around, and we enjoy being part of it. It's been, maybe surprisingly, one of the great things that we've done in our life is to be part of being associated with IMS.
And just if you wanted to add a few words about 2025 theme, Change the Act.
Okay, so Change the Act is good because just because IMS has had some great growth over the last couple of years, that doesn't mean to say that they've conquered everything, that they know how everything is going to work, or that everything's working perfectly. And so I think it's an example of how good the organisation is at being honest with itself. It's identified a whole range of things that they need to improve on if they're going to take the next step, if they're going to continue to grow. And so they're always introspectively looking to say, what can we do better? How can we do this in a different way? And that'll set them up for what's going to, I'm sure, be a great year for them in 2025. IMS is evolving every year.
Thank you, Rod.